I was out here all alone once. Bruce made me go out into the forest by myself for the first time. I had no idea what was out there.
You were just a boy. Those were the lessons that he taught you. Bruce was a psychopath, using fear to control everyone. You need to make sure that this doesn't happen to someone else.
Batman's ally was found dead tonight.
It's over for me. Be a better Batman.
Barbara?
Welcome back to Gotham, Dick.
Batman's gone. Gotham. It's mine now.
We're investigating this new Red Hood case.
Bruce, he said, be a better Batman. The Titans got this.
You know how crazy that is, right? Trying to step into your father's shoes.
I do, Commissioner Gordon.
The whole world is turned upside down.
I think I'm losing my mind.
If you're gonna dove, I'm gonna hawk. We need to stop him.
For cases like these, we've been using a consultant. Scarecrow.
Dr. Crane?
Dick Grayson. Red Hood is a biblical brother. The king moves stealthily in the shadows while the pawns are sent to the teeth of destruction. It's just his opening move.
Where I come from? You come after family? We show no mercy.
What is up, Titans? Welcome to my trailer breakdown for the main, and I'm guessing final-esque trailer for Titans Season 3. Now, recently, well, not too long ago, we did a trailer breakdown for the teaser trailer, but this is the actual trailer that I was telling you to expect. There is a bunch to say. I was right about some things, I believe, in my teaser trailer. Looking like Bruce has done something that he might not be able to walk back from, if you know what I mean, and that leads to the Titans protecting Gotham, meaning Batman has to step down. Red Hood is rallying up to the point of where it's like a spitting image of Under the Red Hood, with albeit a few changes, and so much more. So much more. So if you want to know all the details, Easter eggs, things that you may have missed, this is the video for you. If you're a Titans fan, or even if you're just curious about this channel and the upcoming season, I recommend subscribing to never miss out on a future Titans update, a breakdown, and obviously I'll be doing reviews. And yeah, let's just get into this, because I've been expecting this. Oh, one more thing. No Superman and Lois today, or Flash, because I had to do Loki and I was expecting this. And I'm sorry, I love Superman and Lois, but knowing that this was coming, I had to push it back till tomorrow because I have to break this down. You can't blame me. So let's discuss this with the beginning of the trailer, where it opens up with Dick Grayson talking to, apparently, Jonathan Crane, Dr. Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow, who is being played by Vincent Kartheiser this season, and who is being bigged up to be a very decent, scary, very Hannibal Lecter-y kind of Scarecrow performance, if you know what I mean. More about that later. But he discusses with Scarecrow about when he was a child, and Bruce, in his questionable kind of father figure, if you want to call it that, techniques, put him in the forest, all alone, and yeah, there was a wolf there. And yeah, there's a way to teach mini Dick Grayson a lesson, I suppose. And as we know, obviously, that was a big part of Season 1, the Bruce Wayne questionable side of kind of like, obviously, Dick Grayson growing up to be a Robin. Batman handled things in a much kind of in a very brutal way that rubbed off on him. Now, if you've seen Titans Season 1 and you're not just jumping in now, you know what I'm talking about. There was a big beat with Dick Grayson and Batman in this adaptation. Bruce probably put him in the woods all night, likely to overcome his fear and trying to help him use fear as a weapon in the same way that Batman puts fear in the heart of criminals, and that if he overcomes his fear, i.e. or e.g. being in the woods all alone, which could be Dick's when he was younger, maybe like being scared out there, he can overcome that like Bruce did with his bat fear and, yeah, weaponize it. It's interesting, the parallels to that of how Scarecrow, also being included in this season, uses fear as a weapon. Lines continue saying, Bruce made me go out to the forest by myself for the first time and I had no idea what was out there. And you can see Bruce Wayne in the corner there, and you can even see a beheaded wolf, and that bloody knife that we were wondering about from the teaser trailer is actually the extent of what a mini Dick Grayson had to go through, or should I say, meet the bar that Batman set for him, and how he had to overcome his fear and kill the animal. I'm sure, yeah, it's pretty brutal, but also technically not massively surprising. There are variations on how hardcore Batman can be, but this definitely isn't the peak. But more about this a bit later, especially with what Bruce gave into very evidently in the trailer. But one thing I wanted to say, what I love about Vincent Kartheiser's as Jonathan Crane here, and obviously he's playing Scarecrow, is his voice. Just the way he articulates with obviously being a seasoned expert of the human mind. Now, he goes on to say that Bruce was a psychopath using fear to control everyone. You need to make sure this doesn't happen to someone else, as that last bit was overlaying on Jason, because fear is a big part of the Red Hood storyline this season. Once again, more on that a little bit later. But these lines did initially make me wonder if Scarecrow has any idea about who Dick Grayson is in terms of the Boy Wonder and just the identities, but for now, I'm just gonna say no, and this is just Crane's assessment on Bruce Wayne in general and his effect on Dick Grayson, because, you know, Dick Grayson could still tell that story to Jonathan Crane about Bruce Wayne, and he would know who Bruce Wayne is and give his own opinion of how Bruce is a psychopath for doing that. Funnily enough, coming from a bit of a psychopath as well, Mr. Crane. But up next, guys, we get a scene of Jason Todd, and he's walking in the Batcave up to something. Now, we see the Robin mask there, and I believe that this is him getting suited up as Robin to go to Amusement Mile, where we see him getting beaten in both trailers. Now, we still don't know the proper context as to why it looks like Jason goes to Amusement Mile, but as we know from the comics, you know, it could be a situation, and I am really wondering if the show's going to do this where he's baited by the Joker there to save his mother, or if he doesn't know that the Joker's there and it's just he's going out there because his mother called him, and that could lead to how he gets, you know, smacked. It's very source material stuff, and it would be really cool if they did that. Also, everybody, I could be wrong about this, but it does make sense. We've seen parts of the Batcave before, quite big parts of the Batcave, but notice how in this trailer, it does seem that they've extended the Batcave set for next season, which does make sense with the Titans being in Gotham, Batman stepping down. We need a bigger set. Literally, the Titans are staying in Wayne Manor. They're operating their tech and what Batman would do with the Batcomputer in the Batcave. So yeah, that bigger set, it looks like that's going to be the case. And that is eye candy for a big Batman fan like myself. Up next, it seems that we see some same shots from the teaser trailer. Jason goes there and he sees a dead cop who died through the Joker's laughing gas with a firm smile left on his face, kind of just, you know, because it stiffens the muscles up like that. And he turns around and the Joker set up a little pranky clown to go meet him. So all of those were wondering if that was Harley Quinn. It's not. As I kind of said in my breakdown, if you look a little bit closer, it looked like, well, yeah, a little kind of animatronic dummy in there, but I love the little Joker imagery there. It's a perfect way of kind of really trying to do as much Jokery things they can do without showing his face right onto the camera, because they can't technically do that. And then to the Gotham police crime scene with a voiceover likely from the news saying Batman's ally was found dead tonight. And we see the reactions from the Titans members. Like, this is just so... it's so cool. Like, I love it. What I will say is temper your expectations. This is going to be very under the Red Hood in general, comic accurate, but this is an adaptation at the end of the day. It's not a Batman show, so expect a lot of Batman aspects of the Under the Red Hood story being kind of fulfilled from the Titans. And there's a bit more about that later with some examples I'll give you, but I just seriously love hearing the news saying Batman's ally, you know, Robin, has been found dead. That is intriguing in of itself as well. I would be surprised, even though there's an episode title Untitled Lazarus if they use the Lazarus Pit in this adaptation. I've been voicing without tangenting too much here, but it's kind of important and very relevant that I think they'll go the Arkham Knight route where Jason doesn't actually die, but the Joker kind of tricked and led everyone, including the Titans in this adaptation, to believe that he was dead. It's a mystery until he takes off his mask and it is Jason. But yeah, but how did the police report that he's dead? That's the interesting factor. Maybe there's just Robin armor left behind, blood everywhere, but that's still quite an assumption to make on the news that if you're going to declare quite literally word for word Batman's ally was found dead tonight. So does he actually die? I'm still leaning towards no, but the news literally declared that Batman's ally is dead. So we will have to wait and see. And I also really want an explanation if he isn't dead as to how the news assumed that he was dead. One thing I really appreciate as well is how we get a bit of Tim Drake in this trailer and they pan to Tim Drake's family reacting to the news of Robin's death as well at the Gotham Noodle House that his family runs. Now you can match this up in the scenes of the teaser trailer in where he seems to go outside and look up at the bat signal because, as in like a very comic accurate way, and this is what I mean with how season 3 seems to be piping up to be the best season, another comic book accurate story obviously with Tim Drake and how he believes he has cracked the identities of Batman and his former Robin. When you take into account Tim Drake's, you know, detective level genius intellect kind of stuff, he's going to come in very, I mean, this is a kid who found out the identities of Batman and Robin when no one else could do that in Gotham, not even his villains, like the Rogues Gallery. Think how useful he will be in this Red Hood case, that nobody knows the identity of this Red Hood. Up next, we get a mini shot of Nightwing walking onto the set of a GCPD crime scene, which is just brilliant. Something simple like that. It's just so cool. We're finally, I feel like a lot of people are going to be happy with seeing stuff like this. Maybe they missed it in the trailer, but watch it again, or maybe where you're seeing on screen now, people have wanted to see Titans in this show, in their suits, walking onto a scene like this, GCPD, like superhero stuff. That's what vigilantes do in graphic novels. Like, it's so simple, a 3-second scene, but like, that is exactly what we're getting this season, and that's gonna make a lot of people happy, I think. We get other various reactions from Starfire. It looks like reactions, at least, to Jason Todd's death, from Superboy hugging Dove, but obviously these scenes might not be genuine reactions to Jason's death in the show, but maybe just overlaid in the trailer for effect. But they could be. But you get the point, trailers do this. And guys, it looks like I might be right. Now, I'm not saying I am right, but at least the initial premise of where I was going in that video where I discussed Bruce beating the Joker to potential death or least critical condition, it looks like that is the case. Because here we see Bruce Wayne come back into Wayne Manor, likely after taking off his suit in the Batcave. I'm sorry, but I don't think we're going to see that. But it'd be really cool if they just went through the effort to like side pan film his cape running across the floor as blood drips off the crowbar. Like, you could do that. So I hope you did something like that, Titans, because why not? That would be dope. And then like maybe a shot of Ian Glenn's head. But we don't have to see the suit. We get it. We can't get Batman, but just do that. But anyway, back onto the point. We see Bruce come back into Wayne Manor after taking off his suit, likely, and he drops the crowbar on the floor, bloodied, and says, "It's over for me. Be a better Batman." Now, the thing is, as I said, I cannot confirm if Bruce feels as though he went too far because A, he killed the Joker, or B, he deems that he went too far because he beat the Joker senseless, albeit not dead, but leaving someone in critical condition can be obviously something maybe that he didn't want to go that far. We still don't know, but the thing is that if I really try and approach this logically, Batman is used to going quite far. So I do wonder if he's this disgusted because, well, if he's used to going quite far, well then maybe he did go to the point of going too far that he can't come back from, and what would that be? Death. Thing is, guys, here's another supporting evidence for maybe why he might not have killed the Joker and maybe just left him in critical condition, which, you know, is, as I said, that does make sense for someone like Ian Glenn's Bruce, such a veteran, has not crossed the line of critical condition in terms of leaving a thug bloodied or something, so maybe that shakes him to his core because he didn't think he would be kind of going in that deep because he thought he had a code that he wouldn't, well, yeah, the code is maybe not to kill someone, but maybe that kind of reaches his code as well, to not leave somebody really that messed up. And anyway, back onto my point, Batman isn't over, even though it looks like it in this season. This is kind of just temporary because we can't forget, since we're getting Tim Drake, and Batman needs a Robin, and that's the whole subplot of that arc. So Ian Glenn will still be Batman in the future of this canon, which makes me theorize that perhaps ultimately he didn't kill the Joker, but just maybe left him in critical condition. And Tim Drake obviously realizes that Batman needs a Robin. That's how he comes into the story. And yeah, I'm just hoping that maybe, this is the thing, it's controversial. Some fans, Batman fans, won't mind if he killed the Joker, but some will be disgusted. I lie in the middle. I get both sides and can appreciate both sides, especially with the context of maybe Bruce being pushed there because of the death of his Robin that he's feeling incredibly guilty over because he's done a lousy job with Jason in this canon. I think you all know what I'm talking about just in general. It just looks like they parred him off on Dick Grayson in season 2 and whatnot. So yeah, it's hard to make out. I'm not going to ramble about this anymore. Also, I appreciate how Ian Glenn does indeed have a cut on his face that could have been from the Joker, like, you know, using one of his knives. But he tells Dick Grayson to be a better Batman, and I've said for a long time that I've heard on this show that the end game is to actually have Dick Grayson be Batman. So it's kind of weird hearing this now. He's not going to literally be Batman this season. I mean, of course not. He's only just become Nightwing in the show at the end of season 2. But he is now essentially in charge of Gotham as its protector with the Titans. And that is, yeah, more or less fulfilling the role of Batman. But moving onwards and upwards, we then see Dick Grayson meet Commissioner Barbara Gordon, played by Savannah Welsh. Now, they are meant to rekindle their own romance this season from the past, and that is going to be apparently with a twist. Long story short, my predictions there are, romance in the past, well, they rekindle it, as we know for a fact, but it doesn't last, and it's just a little bit of fun, but then Dick Grayson maybe realizes that he likes Corey. So for all the Corey fans, I do think that will come to fruition, maybe eventually. We're going to have to wait and see. But one thing I want to say about Savannah Welsh as Barbara Gordon, as the commissioner here, I just love her demeanor. Like, I really do feel like she has the demeanor that is perfect for Barbara at this stage in her life. But how about that Red Hood scene? Seriously, like, we've talked about it in the teaser because they showed a very brief scene of this in the teaser trailer quite a few weeks ago now, but this just gives us even more straight out of Under the Red Hood. It's where Jason Todd goes to the crime bosses of Gotham, says Batman is gone, Gotham, it's mine now, and, you know, in the duffel bag there could be beheaded heads of the lieutenants of these bosses of, you know, the criminal underworld in Gotham. So let me just jump to the chase. Number one, love the voice change. This is very important, but obviously so because this proves that he doesn't want anyone in this adaptation to know that he's Jason. But obviously that's the same as Under the Red Hood as well. But it's good to see that it's almost something I forgot about. So yeah, of course his voice will be different. So we're definitely getting a reveal, and it definitely is indeed a mystery to the Titans. So there is going to be that moment, similar to Under the Red Hood, when Nightwing, like, the helmet comes off Red Hood, and lo and behold, it's Jason, and everyone's like shocked Pikachu face because they're like, I thought you died. You're the Red Hood who's been causing this havoc in Gotham? Hence kind of what I said about this story being similar to Under the Red Hood, very similar in fact, and I think some of you are going to be so happy with how accurate it will be in many facets and avenues, if you will, but it's more of a Titans revelation rather than a Batman one when the demasking eventually happens like it does in the Under the Red Hood film. When he takes the mask off, Batman's there, and, you know, obviously the reveal is there, but I'm guessing their excuse for Batman not being there during that reveal, and, like, obviously I'm expecting comments saying, yeah, but why wouldn't Batman be there? Well, A, they're not going to put Batman in this show. That's a story for another time. If you don't know why, they can't really use huge characters like that. And also, they've kind of written that in through Bruce disgusting himself for his own actions. He probably F's off to another country for some proper Bruce Wayne Zen mode to really come in touch with himself again. I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure he will go on a sabbatical, as I said. But that's why he isn't there for that Nightwing, Red Hood to Jason coming out reveal. But also something that's interesting as well, it seems that in this moment that he could be filming that very scene we were just talking about, because we see Dick Grayson and Commissioner Barbara Gordon looking at some CCTV of the very scene that looks like what we were just talking about with Red Hood talking to those crime bosses. So maybe he wanted to send a message to Gotham in a recording, which is a very villainous Gotham style thing to do, you know, like Joker filming himself, sending it to the GCPD. Maybe that moment when Jason just shoots the gun, that is like shooting the camera camera to abruptly stop the recording or something, and then he sends it in. But either way, how else would they get the CCTV footage of a very similar kind of location? Especially with all of the behind-the-scenes set photos of it looks like the Red Hood and his Red Hood gang and the members are causing anarchy over Gotham. Looks like he wants to put the city in fear. So yeah, I'm guessing one way to do that would be to kind of, yeah, as I said, a villain filming himself, sending it to the Gotham Gazette or a news station, and there you go. Also, love how in this scene as well, you take a little closer look at Barbara's wheelchair. It's got a little yellow highlight streak in it, which is definitely a little Easter egg to her yellow aspects in the Batgirl suit. I mean, I can't think of anything else it would be. It's a nice little kind of like hiding in plain sight clues. Moving onwards, she says that they're investigating this Red Hood case, and I think in this moment it's kind of obvious that Barbara will be debriefing to Dick Grayson that this new Red Hood took out many of the crime boss's lieutenants, very similar to Under the Red Hood, as I keep saying, and there's many heads in that duffel bag possibly, and just things like that. She's just probably debriefing him and how this Red Hood has completely and all of a sudden somehow taken over Gotham's criminal underworld in one fell swoop, and how if anything to both of them, they're probably like, Dick, we've never seen anything like this before. It's probably, if anything, impressive. And they're just like, who is this guy? Up next, we get a shot of the Batcave again with Dick Grayson at the helm of the voiceover saying, Bruce, he said, be a better Batman. And he says the Titans have got this. So I believe he's still talking to Barbara here. He's probably just trying to reassure her, like, you know, obviously what Bruce told him, and Bruce has left town since. Tries to reassure her that the Titans have got this. They'll deal with this Red Hood, but he's obviously underestimating Red Hood here because of a scene that I'm about to get to in the trailer. And I also love how Barbara mentions how crazy that is stepping into your father's shoes, because she'd know, because she's quite literally stepped into the shoes of her father, Jim Gordon, because she's now the commissioner. Also, I just love the kind of playful banter. You can already read it. Like, Barbara's really trying hard to keep a little bit of a front on, but you can see the cracks slightly in how when Dick Grayson says, I do, Commissioner Gordon, she's like trying to hee. You know, there's that little bit of like flirtation. Well, as I keep saying, or as I mentioned earlier, they're rekindling their romance from prior years of when she was Batgirl and he was but a wee little Robin. Amongst these scenes, guys, we get some awesome shots that were included amongst the audio of the Titans being suited up. I have to say that Corey looks amazing in her Starfire suit, and we get to see Nightwing versus Red Hood. My god. And I love, as I mentioned a minute ago, how in this fight, Nightwing just looks completely taken back. Like, he's blocking all the moves, but only by a fraction of a second, I think, where if he didn't, it would have left an opening for Red Hood to have really got him in a critical kind of hit. And that's what I was talking about with how I think at first he's going to be over, yeah, it's just another Gotham thug. Me and Batman and Bruce, well, me and Bruce have done this loads of times before. This guy's going to surprise him. Obviously, he doesn't know it's Jason, who's been trained in the same ways as he's been trained. So it's going to, I can't wait for that mystery and the pennies to slowly drop for him to recognize the symptoms of someone being trained by Batman as well. Really happy to see some awesome Beast Boy footage in this trailer, in this badass wall kick, and it seems to be the same location that Nightwing is fighting in other scenes, and as we saw in the previous trailer, which I believe is Dayton Labs, which is funnily enough owned by Mento, of whom we saw in Doom Patrol, but yeah, not connected, so this would be a different Mento, even though there was, yes, I know Doom Patrol in Season 1, trust me, it's not the same, I know. But as I said, it appears to be Dayton Labs, and I've got a theory that maybe Dayton Labs was producing fear toxin or something, because here we see that they're after some kind of chemicals or a vial of something, and you can see that this villain here is taking a look at it, and I am wondering if that is a vial of fear toxin, because as we know from the other trailer, Jason is literally inhaling some fear toxin because he also utilizes Jonathan Crane this season to help overcome his fears that he's been struggling with since Season 2. Now, this appears to be Gizmo. You can kind of tell through his shoulder pauldrons, the little circle dots there. Now, he is a genius investor who can practically turn scraps like vacuum cleaners into dangerous weapons. I'm wondering if he's working on behalf of Red Hood to get some of that, or like this is some parts, you know, where I'm not omniscient, so I don't really know what's going on here, other than I don't know what else these chemicals could be other than fear toxin, and that he's trying to require it for someone like Jason who wants to take it, or maybe Scarecrow is running some kind of operation from Arkham, which also isn't surprising. In this shot here, Corey seems to be freaking out. The background could be a room in Wayne Manor, but regardless, this is an easy to go to speculation, I admit, but who knows? She could be under the influence of fear toxin, but She also describes that she feels as though she's losing her mind, but these scenes in the trailer could also pertain to her condition that she seemed to be suffering with in season 2, in where she was literally losing her powers and we didn't know why, and we still don't know why. And I thought maybe last season it could be psychosomatic, but at the same time this could just be a spiral staircase and how she's getting worse from what we saw her going through at the end of last season with not even really being able to properly project a flame out of her hands. We get a shot of Hawk and Dove, and just Dove being a badass vigilante, well, Hawk as well. I think Dove's gonna die this season. Could be Hawk, but as I've said a billion times before, if you watch my videos, I think it's gonna be Dove. Speaking of, we do know now that Hawk and Dove did split up last season, and Hank is like, you're gonna Dove, I'm gonna Hawk. And once again, they're in Wayne Manor. I love the idea of the Titans literally chilling in Wayne Manor this season. Now, this scene is likely after an argument. I imagine the conversation is something around about the sense of like, we're split up, how are we gonna do this? Also being ex-boyfriend and girlfriend living in the same place. Where he's like, you're gonna Dove, I'm gonna Hawk. I really like this shot that you're about to see on screen, and that is of Red Hood here without the hood up. Now, I think this could possibly be the best shot of the mask here because it doesn't look so bulky, and that's a big criticism of this mask, of which I have seen as well, like wholeheartedly. I just didn't mind it that much, but I do agree it has looked a bit bulky in some shots compared to like the proportion of his body and stuff. Like that's just like a reality of turning comic books, I think, into real life. Maybe like the head, like if you add that material, it just does come across a bit bulky. But in this scene, it looks perfectly in proportion to everything else. So I guess, hopefully that reassures a lot of you, like, because this looks great to me. Like, I have no reservations about this. This scene looks to be a little bit of a tight spot for the Titans, because it seems that the Red Hood, Jason, has gang members putting the Titans basically up against a very sticky situation, because you can see Nightwing and Dove and Starfire in the background, and you can see that the Red Hood gang members are holding a gun to someone, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's bloody Ryan Potter's Beast Boy. Just be like, help me, but like, no, give something better to Beast Boy. But either way, they're wearing red hoods before removing one of them. So Jason is truly infiltrating all kinds of gangs. And as we saw earlier, they're all working for him now. So I just really love that detail of how, you know, anyone supporting Red Hood, and we know a lot of the city does as well at a certain point in the season, they're wearing red hoods. In this scene in the trailer, we see Dick Grayson approaching Arkham Asylum to meet with Jonathan Crane, because we know this season, and as pointed out with Barbara here, the GCPD have been using Crane as a consultant on cases like these, because he can offer his expertise through psychoanalyzing people. So from these words from the showrunner himself as well, Jonathan Crane has been given the opportunity to opine on ways to stop villains, and a villain breaks out in Gotham, Red Hood, and it draws Dick Grayson to work with him. But we also know from a promo photo that it looks like Jason, aka the Red Hood, breaks him out as well, Scarecrow out of a prisoner transport bus or something. Maybe that's how Jason gets a hold of the Scarecrow fear toxin vial, and we see him inhale it, as you're probably seeing on screen right now. But what I love about all of this part of the trailer is it introduces Jonathan Crane, Dr. Crane, or Scarecrow, in a very Hannibal Lecter way, and that's been described from the showrunner himself as well. He goes on to say Red Hood is his biblical brother. The king runs stealthily in the shadows while the pawns are sent at the teeth of destruction, referring to Red Hood obviously being the king moving in the shadows, and he's sending his pawns out, his goons, of which he's very much so in control of, as we just spoke about, all over Gotham. I just want to reiterate one more time that we have literally got Dr. Jonathan Crane psychoanalyzing Red Hood's move to help Dick Grayson. I love it. We do get some shots of that chaos we've been talking about that will ensue in Gotham this season, and we see this lady who seems to be dealing with the effects of fear toxin, I imagine. We get another shot of a bomb going off with GCPD vans on standby, cops going in, and it makes me wonder if quite a few people will die in that explosion. And then we see Barbara in another angle of this bomb going off, literally watching the building blow up, and it seems that Nightwing was inside with the other Titans in this shot as he is face down in the rubble. I adore seeing Superboy and Crypto deflecting bullets, protecting Gar in his tiger mode in the background there. And as in typical fashion these days, this is when the trailer just goes by it with shots very, very, very fast. So I'll try to get to them. So up next, we get a little look at Blackfire. Now this one slightly puzzles me because it looks like she's getting ready for a fight, but I can't really make out those words in the background. They could point to a location, but at the same time, it looks like she's in a straitjacket that she's broken kind of the bonds out of. So she's gone from like this to kind of like this maybe. This makes me think, is she kind of like being held somewhere? Because it looks like she's maybe in some kind of containment unit. That is just wild speculation, I do admit. But the thing is, we do get shots of her fighting later on in the trailer in her badass Blackfire armor, and it seems that she could be fighting in a similar kind of location to Dayton Labs, albeit I don't think it is Dayton Labs, but I'm wondering if she's being kept somewhere, breaks out, and this is her where she was breaking out of. But they are very much so keeping Blackfire and their cards, like, with regards to her, to their chest, because we barely saw her, as well as Donna Troy and Raven in this trailer, so I'm guessing they really want to save those scenes for when the episodes air. And as I was just saying, we get a shot at Donna Troy, of whom we know will have quite a few scenes with Tim Drake this season, once again keeping their cards close to their chest in terms of footage of Wonder Girl here, and we see that the CGI appears to be a bit better on Beast Boy's Tiger, and that apparently the CGI is better this season overall. Just wanted to put that out there. Up next, we get that shot of Raven. We've seen this in a promo photo, but here we get a much nicer look, and she's wearing such elegant clothing that makes me think this is still her in Themyscira. It seems that she really has been harnessing her abilities with the help of the Amazons in Themyscira, possibly pertaining to obviously resurrecting Donna Troy, because she died at the end of last season in the most questionable way. More Nightwing action. Red Hood dual-wielding pistols trying to shoot Nightwing in the woods. Does make me think if it's the same woods that Dick Grayson went to as a boy. Like, because that would be a thing I imagine seeing in the episodes. Like, Dick Grayson gets an ominous message, an ambiguous message from Red Hood saying, meet at this location, and he looks at the message, and he recognizes the place as to where Batman put him when he was a kid. How would Jason know that? Maybe Bruce told him the story. Maybe Dick told him the story behind the scenes. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. But I could be wrong. But that, I believe, is everything. I know this video has been going on for ages, but I feel like I've covered mostly everything in this trailer. I'm really looking forward to the flavor and the vibe of this season. I already felt like I got onto the scent of what they were doing. So when you see what is going on in motion through trailers like this, and it only basically makes that scent stronger, so you know you're on the ball of what they were vibing for this season and preparing, I couldn't be happier, because it's what I wanted. It's what fans wanted, and I truly do believe, just like what the cast members have said and others, that this season is the best season of Titans yet. They do not want to F up again. They do not want to make some mistakes more than others with what they've done before. Sure, it's not going to be a perfect season. I don't think anything is perfect. But hopefully it will be the best season, and this certainly looks like that. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know your opinions on my opinions, your theories on my theories. As always, I am dying to read them. I read every single comment, and if you got this far in the video, leave the hashtag to prove that you got this far with whatever comment you're going to put down in the comment section below. Hashtag Jonathan Crane is about to cause a bunch of pain. Yet again, off the top of my head, I have no idea if he even is, but I don't know. But anyway, guys, social media, as always, is linked in the top pinned comment. Click on the show more, because a lot of people don't do that, and that's where you see my Twitter, my Patreon, my Discord server, and good places like that. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and my God, it felt good breaking down this trailer. So I'll see you fellow Titans in the next video. Goodbye.